Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the March 12th, 2008 regular meeting of the Glendale Civil Service Commission. Could we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Devine?
Here.
Commissioner Coleman?
Here.
Commissioner Manukian?
Here.
Commissioner Abkarian?
Here.
Chair Gantis?
I am present. What is next?
Reading of the minutes.
Folks, we have a copy of the minutes. We have a somewhat of a conundrum, and this is how we're going to break down the minutes. From the item number 1 through item number 5, all of the commissioners were present except myself. Item number 6 and item number 7, everybody was present. And items number 8 through 13, everyone was present but Mr. Abkarian and Mr. Manukian. So those of you that were on that list that were here, read that portion of it, because you will be voting on the portion that's assigned to you, and you will abstain on that which is not assigned to you.
Even though we watched the video from A to Z?
Mr. Braden?
If they watch the video from beginning to end, then they can't approve the minutes.
You need to represent. Did you watch the
Yes.
video? Okay. Anybody else here watch the video? Really must be a problem.
Nothing else to do, sorry.
And I'll tell you, you have absolutely nothing, because I did not. Yes, sir. So that then means, Mr. Manukian, you can vote on everything.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. So are you making the motion to approve the minutes?
Move so.
I will
And
second that.
You can also, Mr. Devine. Now,
Dispense with reading.
And dispense with reading. On page 3, second full paragraph that starts, Mr. Doyle, second sentence, the word exempt should be exempted, E-X-E-M-P-T-E-D. That should not change, Ms. Torres, however, the setup of the minutes, so I will sign the minutes, and then if you'll just make that change, I would appreciate that. Anything else anybody noticed the changes? Okay, we are going... Yes.
Yes, on page 7, at the end of the last paragraph where you were talking about the possibility of going into closed session, I made a cautionary comment that whether you could go into closed session on those kinds of issues would have to be examined at the time were it to arise. Words to that effect. I don't remember the exact words, but...
What would you like to add, then?
That Mr. Braden cautioned the commission that they have to examine it at the time when they decide to go on a closed session.
Okay, you got that, Ms.? So now I won't sign the minutes. You'll have to redraft them with that change. We now have 2 changes. Any other changes? Okay, we are going to vote on items 6 through... No, we're going to...
How about if we both abstain from voting, and then there'll be 3 votes, and we can get the minutes approved, so we don't...
We can do that, okay. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Devine?
Yes.
Commissioner Coleman?
Yes.
Commissioner Manukian?
Yes.
Commissioner Abkarian?
Abstain.
Chair Gantis?
Abstain. Thank you, good suggestion. Next, what is next?
Oral communications.
This is the time limited to items that are not part of the agenda. Each speaker is limited to 5 minutes. The commission may question the speaker, but there will be no debate or decision. I have no cards. Anybody wish to address the Civil Service Commission on oral communications? No one appearing. There, I will declare oral communications closed. What is next?
Recruitment and examination status
Mr.
report.
Doyle.
Mr. Chair, members of the Commission, this item represents the recruitment activity by staff, by each individual staff member in the departments that they service. As you can see, again, ongoing amount of high quantity of work. This total report shows a total number of processes of 94. If there's any questions you have about this report or anything therein, I'd be happy to try and answer those.
Any questions?
Just so
Mr.
we make sure that the record is clear, for example, Amy Martin has 2 exams. That's not all she does.
Absolutely not.
And it might be, somebody looks at this schematics here, they'll basically see she has 2, and Steve has maybe 30 or 20, and they might get the wrong idea that we are giving more to one person than the other. She actually has other duties and other things that she does for the
Absolutely.
department, correct?
Commissioner Karian, I appreciate the comment. Amy Martin has a lot to do. She has taken on many administrative assignments in support of myself, and she's a very, very busy, productive employee in the HR department. And this report in no way reflects solely what she or other staff members do. Even Mr. Nersessian and Ms. Unanian and Secopian, they all have other assignments in addition to recruitment. So do thank you for for noting that.
I guess on the same vein, then you're doing a little more than just working on getting us a fire chief?
A little bit more than that, yes, sir.
Okay, anything further? Any questions? Nothing appearing. What is next?
Eligible list established.
Mr. Doyle?
Mr. Chair, members of the Commission, this report lists the eligible lists that have been established since our last meeting, which was 2 weeks ago. As you'll see, there are 5 lists that have been established, 3 promotional, 2 open. The total number of applications received are submitted along with the total number that made it onto the eligibility list. So with that, if you have any questions, I'd be happy to try and answer those.
Mr. Coleman?
Under the last 2, under police, what's the difference between bulletin number 6604J and 3860, number 96?
Mr. Chair, Commissioner Coleman, that has to do with the one on top is a promotional recruitment. The one beneath is our standard open recruitment. As you may recall, the department does a variety of different recruitment efforts at the police officer recruit level. We have a lateral transfer. We have the police officer recruit. We also have a police officer recruit promotional process whereby existing employees who are serving in the capacity of a police cadet or CSO, jailer, anything along those lines would be eligible to sort of take a fast track to the recruit position. And that's what this recruitment, this promotional recruitment reflects. The individual who made it onto that list, I believe, was a cadet being considered now for police officer recruit.
So there was one cadet promoted?
Well, in this current process, there was one candidate that went through the testing process, one internal candidate that went through the testing process and is now on the eligibility list and is, to my understanding, now being considered for a police officer recruit position.
Okey-doke.
Any other questions? What is next?
Report on advertising budget expenditures, October 2007 to December 2007.
Mr. Doyle?
Mr. Chair, members of the Commission, this is our quarterly report on advertising expenditures. This report was originally scheduled to be presented a few meetings ago, but it was pushed back due to some hearings that we wanted to shorten those meetings. But this essentially reflects the advertising costs or expenditures that occurred from September 1, 2007 to December 31st, 2007. As you see from the report, during this time frame, this 3-month time frame, approximately $6,000 was spent during this period. Somewhat, in relation to the entire budget, we are underexpended at this point in the year. For the remainder of the year, we do have some expenses that we're having to deal with. As some of you know, we are working on a short film focusing on careers in law enforcement, and there's actually a production company that is working on that. We've yet to be invoiced for that, so even though there's work being done on it, it doesn't reflect it quite yet. And as we move more towards more of a media-oriented recruitment, again, more money will be spent in those areas. A couple other things. We do have a meeting, and I want to thank Commissioner Abkarian for putting us in touch with some individuals who are willing to assist us and actually donate some services to the city in the area of producing some commercials, and we're actually going to be meeting with this group on Friday to put together a commercial, which hopefully we can begin running on some of the stations within hopefully a few months. We also have, again, thanks to Commissioner Abkarian, put into contact with what's called a mobile billboard company, which will again has agreed to donate their services to the city to simply advertise our openings, our website, our phone numbers, and anything relating to in jobs and employment with the city of Glendale. So those are a couple things that are in the works. Additionally, this report has, you look on the second and third, or the third and fourth pages, the specific expenses for that were taken during the October through December time period. Again, this is broken down into really three groups. First being publications that target the different ethnic communities. The second part are specialized trade journals, publications, websites that focus on a particular trade. The third, and those are the Type C recruitment advertising, relates to those that are just of a general nature, such as if we were to run an ad in the news press or LA Times or Craigslist or some of the generic job advertising websites and publications. Again, that report is included. Additionally, after that, we did make an effort to, I think, per the Commission's request, to try and track and try and get a sense of where our applicants are coming from. This is reflected on about the fifth page. There's a handout that says all applications for a period of January 1, 2007 to December 31st, 2007. That report shows, I won't say all, but some of our recruitment sources, places that we advertise frequently, shows you where the applicants are coming from, largely for the calendar year of 2007. And then at the bottom of that page, we looked at those that were actually hired at the city and what recruitment sources they came from. And you get a general sense of where most of our candidates are seeing the job announcements, and in general, it shows a lot of activity on the city's website. And a lot of the activity is generated from actually free advertising sources, websites and such that will link directly to our website, where, of course, the candidate can get all the information in the world about all of our current recruitments. So that report is there for you. And again, the last page talks about the Google AdWorks campaign, which, again, Ms. Sakopian from my staff has organized that. So with that, if you have any questions, and perhaps Ms. Sakopian, if you'd like to come up and answer any questions, I'd be happy to answer those.
Did Ms. Sakopian put all this information together, including these applicants and et cetera? The source of applicants?
Yes. The source of the applicants, that was also worked on by Ms. Martin as well.
Ms. Martin as well, and she's not here.
She is telecommuting today, working very hard, but I'm sure she's watching us.
Okay, well, so if we have a disappointment, we take it to either Ms. Sakopian or Ms. Martin. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Commissioner Abkarian?
First of all, I want to thank you. This is exactly the type of information that we needed for us to be able to track what sources gives you what type of information, and I think this is exactly what we've been asking for now for a while. And thank you so much. This is a lot. I know it's a lot of work. I know it's a lot of very, very hard work, but it's definitely necessary. One thing that I would ask you to do, please, is if you can just add, I mean, all you would do is just transfer some of the numbers from here into here, but if you can put right next to the percentages, just the dollar amounts that was actually spent for each one of these categories, if possible. If, I mean, city employees, you might not have anything, but if, let's say for, I don't know, Craigslist, you probably know exactly how much you spend. If you can just have a bulletin right next to it, and we can just have a total, this way we can actually, you really could track how many you people actually saw it, how much money you spend, and then at the end of the day, if you spend too much money on that, then let's eliminate some of these sources that don't give us enough return on our money, so.
So you want a total, for instance, if you're going to do the whole year, then let's just have, add a column that says, we got, for instance, 4,422 out of 9,252 of the applicants came from our website. Well, we spent 0 on that. We got one applicant from the Daily News, and maybe we spent $500 on the Daily News that year. Don't know that, I'm making a figure up. That way, what we can say is, well, gee, we sure didn't get much for our $500 and got a heck of a lot for our 0. I think that's the analysis you want to have. Is that correct, Mr. Epkarian?
Yeah. And if it's consistent,
Then we can...
on a quarterly basis, then on a yearly basis, we can eliminate the ones that don't give you a return, and then you switch the money to a place where it gives you money. This is the only way you're going to be able to really track your advertising.
Mr. Chair, if I could clarify, compiling this was quite a bit of work, and this is a reflection of the calendar year 07 to January 1st of 07 to December 31st. We can do this on a quarterly basis as well. The statistics may not be as meaningful, but we can do that and put the dollar amount. But we just thought, for the first time, we took a crack at this to show an entire year's worth.
It's beautiful.
I don't think Mr. Epkarian's complaining. I think he's enhancing, is what I mean.
I think that this is the best thing that happened in reference to advertising, and all I'm asking is if you can do us a favor and just add one more column. As Chairman Gant has said, I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying it's beautiful. If we can just put one more column in there, then I think we have it all.
Good.
Great job.
Great job. Any other questions or comments? Okay, what is next?
Class specification for approval, departmental budget specialist.
All right. Mr. Doyle.
Mr. Chair, members of the Commission, this is a new classification for a classification of departmental budget specialist. This particular classification was requested for in the budget this past year by by the Parks Recreation Department, but it is designed to be a generic classification, which is something that can be used in any department. And essentially, many of our departments, particularly the larger ones that have significant budgets involving CIP, operational, enterprise accounts, have a need for staff to deal with the development, coordination, and oversight of their budgets. And this classification largely fits the bill. This has been set up as a means to really draw upon people from within each department who may have a particular expertise in that department's operation. And it could be someone with either an administrative background or a clerical or even a clerical background who would have particular skill or aptitude in dealing with budgetary matters. And again, as I stated earlier, this was intended to be used for any department that so chooses to need a position of this nature, but the particular request came in from our Parks Department. Many departments use, their upper managers or some of their supervisory staff to deal with budget. But some, many cases, those people have other responsibilities relating to managing their operations, and it really is good to have someone with just a real focus on the budget. And again, you're not going to see this in small departments. You're going to see this in bigger departments that have just kind of an ongoing need for the monitoring of the budget and the coordination of the budget, not only during budgetary review by council, but also throughout the course of the year. Mr. Chapchian could probably explain to you just how complex the budget is in the Parks Department, because they have grants that they deal with. They have, the programs at the parks which generate their own revenue, enterprise funds, and of course their big issue now is capital improvement. They're building lots of parks, lots of buildings, and other facilities to build. So, anyway, that's just a general overview of the need for this. And we have Mr. Chapchian is here, along with Ms. Bellotti from Parks, as well as Steve Nersessian from my staff who worked on this. So, if you have any questions, be happy to answer them.
Questions? What is your pleasure?
Move to approve.
Second?
Roll call, please.
Yes.
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 Yes. What is next?
Agenda forecast.
Mr. Doyle?
Mr. Chair, members of the Commission, the agenda forecast is here for your review. It shows the next 3 meetings. We have a desire to keep them short because there'll be some disciplinary appeal hearings immediately following that may run well into the night. For the next meeting, we'll have, the only item we have is a brief discussion on how we want to go about canceling meetings if there appears to be a short agenda. We also, the meeting after that, will have a brief item on your desires relative to the preparation of minutes for this commission. And then the meeting after that, we're back right again with the quarterly advertising budget report. The meeting following that, we'll also have a discussion on the potential selection of outside hearing officers and a process that we'll be working on for that. So with that, if you want to add anything or further discussion.
Mr. Doyle, I know we have had this, we have the hearing on the one matter that the hearing itself is starting on. Isn't that correct? That's after that meeting. We also now have another matter that we're going to be hearing that day as well, so on the 26th.
That is correct.
So could you please remove the cancellation process and put it sometime in May, please? I want nothing on that meeting except what is absolutely necessary.
Okay.
Commissioner Devine had recommended that. Is that okay with you?
Oh, that's fine, sure.
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah, because we're going to have 2 closed session issues. We'll be here a long time.
Thank you.
I will move that to
Sorry, I didn't mean to.
either May 14th or May 28th. Commission has a preference.
Either one. It shouldn't be too long, so you could probably put it on the 14th. Mr. Coleman?
Yes, on page 8 of 8, last meeting's report on the last meeting, it's indicated that I requested the report of hourly employees be presented at one of the 2 meetings scheduled in August. And you had indicated to me last meeting that would be done, but it's not on the calendar.
I apologize for that.
It's okay.
It should
It's a
be.
friendly reminder.
Okay.
Okay?
That was intended to be for actually August 27th, because I
Okay.
probably won't be here on the 13th, but
Okay.
I do apologize for that.
Great.
That'll be on August 27th.
Only 5% deduction to your salary, Mr. Doyle, so don't worry.
God, you'll make, what's his name?
Minus merit step.
You'll make Mr. Milano very thrilled. Anything else on agenda forecast? What is next?
Reports and information. Past due employee performance evaluations.
Mr. Coleman?
Well, I'm looking at the administrative service report on past dues, and we've got the city clerk's office with no past dues, city treasurer's office with no past dues, Glendale Water and Power, no past dues, information services, no past dues, planning, no past dues, the police department, once again, no past dues, and public works, no past dues. I do have to notice that we've got a total of 24 first notices and 7 second notices, which
It's more than we have had.
is, well put, more than we've had in the recent future, and I don't want to see it escalating. But for those that are doing a great job, thank you very much, and
But it
keep up
is-
the good work.
It is less. These departments are not, I see that we're getting less and less of no past dues.
Right.
The smaller departments are falling behind.
Yes.
Fire department, police department are doing great. We've got
Well, the
one.
fire's at 6 first notices.
I know.
Let's not get carried away.
That's a first.
Let's not
In
get
quite
carried
a while.
away. City Attorney's Office, Mr. Braden, we're at second notices, 3 of them.
Public Works.
Need I go on?
Public Works. Now that you're going to mention it, Public Works has 0, so and
We already said
they're a
that,
pretty
yeah.
large.
Yeah.
That's 309
Gee,
employees. So.
Parks and Rec, we just missed Mr. Chapchian, didn't we, Steve? You might mention to Steve, he's at 1. We noticed that.
That is an improvement.
Okay, it is,
It
yes.
should be noted, though, there are no third notices.
That's true.
If you'll recall, Commissioners, if there is a third notice, you'll be looking at an executive here explaining that, so.
Okey-doke.
Remembering that the second notices, some of them go back to December 1st.
Yeah, we went through that last
We
meeting.
did, we went through it
Once
again. Okey-doke. Civil Service Commission and/or staff comments. Mr. Abkarian.
I do have a comment. I think I watched part of the discussion in the last meeting with the fire department, and I want to just make one comment. First, I think that the comments were very constructive, and I appreciated the Commission's comment. I wish I was here, but I had to tend to something different. And I think it was very productive, and I think it's important that we continue the communication channels. At some points, however, I don't know, the feeling was that we were picking on the fire department, it felt like, and I just want to make sure that, as far as I was concerned, everything that I saw, and couple people had made a comment, everything I saw was very, very constructive suggestions. And I thought that the Commission did a great job in trying to direct everyone, and I think what they were doing is trying to make sure that we have a balanced fire department, and for that I want to thank the members that actually stayed behind and carried the day. So, not to pat you in the back, but to tell you that you carried yourself with utmost respect, and what you said was all important.
Any other Commissioner or staff comments? Yes, Commissioner Manukian?
On a similar note, yeah, I absolutely agree. I mean, I had unfortunately, I could not stay due to an emergency. I had to leave. But I had a chance to go through the tapes. And funny enough, past week, I was approached by 2 or 3 different firemen. And it's unfortunate that I think some within the department looked at that meeting and took it in a way that we don't appreciate what they do, but that is not the case. I mean, and I absolutely agree with majority of the comments that were made by my fellow commissioners, and I think I could see that, and before coming onto this board, I've always seen you guys addressing this issue with the department for many, many years, and I could feel and see the frustration of when getting the same reports back with the same results, but at the end of the day, same thing as Albert says. I absolutely agree with everything that you guys covered, and hopefully there's going to be some changes.
Any other Commissioner or under staff comments? I have one. First of all, 2 comments. First of all, the fire, one of the more outspoken of the commissioners was myself on the fire, and I also have heard repercussions that, I don't want to say they're disturbing, but I'm not sure everybody understood where we were. The truth of the matter is, all I care about, maybe other commissioners disagree, is I want to know the facts. I don't want people coming up making accusations of no females or no blacks and that we're this or we're that. I just want to know the facts. Today we were handed, and I'm going to read it in L.A. Weekly, column that came out on January 23, 2008, entitled Women Firefighters, the Gender Boondoggle, in which it reported that they had 3 women firefighters in the December class that flunked the physical. This is, this is telling information. But what we asked for and what we're going to get and where we ended even on when Mr. Coleman pointed out that paragraph, we want to know facts. Where are, at least from a women's standpoint, where are we compared to other fire departments? I'm not going to criticize a soul until I know actual facts and why they're not there. And that's all we're doing, and that's all we're going to do right now, is to find out the facts. From the second standpoint, on February 4th, 2008, the Glendale Police Department lost a very valued member of its police force, the passing of police volunteer Penny Hansen. I'm going to ask fellow commissioners that we adjourn this meeting in memory of Penny Hansen. I'm going to read to you what the personnel order that was put out by Randy Adams. We regret to announce the passing of senior volunteer Penny Hansen. Penny passed away on Monday, February 4, 2008, from complications suffered during her battle with cancer. Penny Hansen began volunteering for the Glendale Police Department 5 years ago, assisting in the COPS office.
The tape just stopped.
I know, but this is not, doesn't need to be on the tape.
There's another tape.
Penny later decided to extend her service to our department by becoming a retired senior volunteer patrol officer, or an RSVP, after completing a 12-week mini-academy. Although an RSVP agrees to work 1 4-hour shift per week in the field, Penny also maintained her position in COPS, answering phones, greeting the public, and helping out wherever she could. Along with her basic duties as an RSVP, Penny trained new volunteers both in the office and in the field. She volunteered to become one of the department's first docents and conducted tours of the station for the public. Penny, who was extremely detailed and dependable, was often sought out by other bureaus within the department to assist on various projects. She often assisted records with filing projects, worked with 290 PC registrants, checked patrol vehicles for required supplies and equipment, and assisted the chief's office with staff luncheons. Penny completed all these various assignments in addition to her regular RSVP and COPS assignments. During Penny's tenure at the department, she was known as a friendly, hardworking, and reliable individual. Wherever there was a volunteer function going on, Penny was there getting involved and helping out. She was always willing to assist other volunteers by filling in for them and switching days with them if necessary. She regularly donated more than 50 hours a month to the department. In May 2005, Penny's love of animals motivated her to organize the RSVP unit into collecting recyclables in order to raise funds for the Glendale Police Canine Program. Thus far, the RSVPs have been successful in raising $4,000 for the Glendale Canine Program. In addition to working hard and donating her time, Penny was extremely thoughtful. She was the first to send a card, to celebrate a birthday, or send get-well wishes of encouragement. She would always tape a shiny new penny to the card that stood in as her signature. That's cute. Penny was a tremendous asset to our volunteer program and was someone who truly cared about the community and the department. She will be missed tremendously. I knew Penny personally, and I can tell you that every word the chief said is true. She was quite a lady, and she was just quite a lady. Any other commission and or staff comments? Mr. Coleman.
With regards to comments specifically that I made in regards to the report that we reviewed last meeting with the recruitment of the fire department, I want to make it perfectly clear that I wasn't coming down on the fire department. In investigating illegal discrimination, the last thing that the investigator is going to take a look at are overall statistics. And it's the last thing that's looked at. There are a number of things that we take a look at. And the very first thing that an investigator would look at when dealing with the possibility of illegal discrimination is whether or not the appointing authority's position is factually accurate. And I did not for 1 second doubt what Chief Biggs or what Chief Stoggins had to say about the miserable results that they had with hiring women and some ethnic minorities. So if there was a perception that I was accusing the fire department of being discriminatory in their practices. That certainly was not my intent, and if individuals took it to mean that, I apologize. I'm not backstepping. I think it's a crucial issue. Chair Gantis put it very well when he said, we want to know the facts, and if there's a problem, we want to help fix the problem, period. Not casting aspersions or stones on anyone.
Any other comments? Mr. Doyle.
Mr. Chair, Ms. Sakopian would like to make an announcement.
Ms. Akopian.
Good evening, Chair Gantis, Commissioners. I speak to you as the Vice Chair of the Employee Human Relations Committee, and I just wanted to let you know that we're doing one of our annual fundraising events this coming week. We will be having a pancake breakfast to help raise funds to pay for events such as sending care packages to the troops, which was immensely successful just this last month. We sent 38 boxes, and it cost the committee about $800-some. So we need to raise the funds to pay for the postage, basically. But obviously, the funds we collect go for more than just that. So we would like to invite all of you to please come and join us. It will be next Thursday, March 20th, starting at 7 a.m. in the plaza outside past the ramp. And the chefs preparing the breakfast will be a lot of our executive staff, along with our committee members, which represent every single department in our organization. So we're very excited about the event, and we would love to see you there.
So if we're poisoned, we know who to go to?
Yeah. I want to know who these cooks are. Hopefully it's not the fire chief. We'd be in trouble.
One of them is here. Mr. Doyle has.
Aha, Mr. Doyle. You're getting red. The Irish is coming out on you with the red
Make
face.
sure my bubble gum doesn't fall into the batter.
And just to
Very funny.
note, actually, our community is so charitable and so great that we've gotten everything that we'll be preparing for the breakfast from a variety of, stores and
When was the date again?
businesses. And that's next Thursday, March 20th,
What time?
starting at 7 a.m.
Out in what, Parker Plaza? Parcher Plaza?
Arch Plaza, right?
Right.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you. Anything else? That ends, that, we have listed on our agenda a closed session, but we will not be going into closed session tonight. So we are to the adjournment part.
Move to adjourn.
In memory of Penny Hansen, we are adjourned.